Don't forget to donate to the hashtag Daytona Dream 2019 GoFundMe for your chance in January to win one of these 3 Kevin Harvick diecast. Now enjoy the video. And good evening, everybody. Welcome here as the playoffs begin for Division 2 of the NCRA Skittles Super Speedway Series. Getting ready for race number 16, playoff race number 1. And we are here at the Blue Ridge Super Speedway getting ready for 30 laps of action. We had a wild race in Division 1 last night. 3 cautions, 3 pretty big wrecks as well, but it came down to a photo finish. Ashland Boyd just edging out Johnny Gardner by 6 1/1000ths of a second, and we had our first departure of the playoffs, that being Brady Burkhart. Well, tonight we will have another departure here for the Division 2 drivers. 8 drivers come into this race in the Division 2 playoffs. Pole sitter Charles Sandfer, Nathan Stapleton, Fury Gamington, John Andrews, Jeff Scott, Keith Batson, O Balvin, and Alex Benyacko. Of course, Balvin getting in last minute with his win last week at the Orlando Super Speedway. Their goal here today, very simple. Do not be the first one retired out of the race, because if they are, that is going to be their pink slip out of the playoffs. Now, Charles Sandfer lines up on the pole position. He's the only 2-time winner this season in Division 2. However, brand new thing for him. It's the first time that Charles Sandfer has started on the pole this season. So we'll see if this good starting track position is going to be enough to help transfer him into the next round of the playoffs. He'll start alongside of T Wright. We mentioned this in last night's Division 1 race. A lot of drivers in that one started up towards the front of the field that are still looking for their first win of the season, even though they're not battling for a championship. Same can be said here. You've got T Wright lining up in second, Levi McIntire third, fourth W Flickinger. Eric Sadler, of course, one coming in here probably with a broken heart, as he will start in 5th. He's just trying to finish out the season with wins. He got it into Orlando, looking like he might be able to get the final seed into the playoffs, but with his teammate O Balvin going to victory lane, he was higher than Sadler was in the point standings, and so Balvin edged out his teammate for the final spot in battling for this championship. So Sadler,
drivers, start your engines!
As I just got rudely interrupted by the command to fire the engines, but Sadler now just going to basically try and see if he can finish out the season as best as he can. So as the field rolls off here, trying to see anybody else as far as playoff contenders that are going to be starting up here towards the front, with the exception of the pole sitter Charles Sandfer. And I saw O Balvin not too far back. I think he's starting somewhere around 14th, 16th place, but other than that, I'm not really seeing very many playoff contenders up here towards the front. And we saw in yesterday's race a lot of drivers that were towards the back of the pack as far as playoff contenders. That wasn't exactly a great place for them to be. And that was what eventually really took Brady Burkhart out of the playoff hunt. So nobody is safe. In the 30-lap race we had yesterday, we had 3 cautions. It was technically an average of every 8 to 9 laps we had a wreck, and especially in the early going when they started double wide, like they're starting here today, they were very anxious to go 4 wide. And while this track can hold at 4 wide in certain portions as long as they give room, they were leaning on each other 4 wide. So just brace yourself and get ready, I think, for an early caution here today as well, because I think that all these drivers here, 8 of them, they want to make it to the next round of the playoffs, but there's another 32 of them here, they just want to win. So they're going to be very aggressive, I think, for the entirety of this 30-lap event. But here we go. The playoffs for Division 2 is green. Let's roll. So far, pretty calm up here towards the front. 3 wide there for a brief moment. Charles Sandfer trying to see if he can lead the first lap. Of course, really, there's nothing to do with points in this playoff system. It's not about who gets bonus points for leading laps, who gets bonus points for leading the most laps, who gets points for finishing the highest. It all comes down to the finishing position of dead last in every single one of these elimination races. Eric Sadler, of course, our Talladega race winner, got eliminated last minute last week at Orlando. Right behind him, our Daytona winner, K Farrell. Both of them former winners, both of them not battling for the championship this season. So now they're just basically trying to get their second wins of the year. So we are 3 wide, now 4 wide back here. Nathan Ormond in the middle with Jordan Lopez, who had a great run last week at Orlando. Almost got himself into the playoffs, but O'Neal Balvin bested him. And we are now 4 wide, 2, make it 3 rows deep. This does not look like a happy area to be in, and there they go! And the track's blocked up. Oh, this is not going to end well, and I see some playoff contenders involved. One of them there was the 57 of John Andrews. There he is, J Galloway spinning again. Benyacko is back behind this, as was Jeff Scott. Don't know if either one of them got damage or not. Charles Sandfer was in it, and he's got a lot of damage. Keith Batson as well in the 39. And now this is very interesting because if these two are not going to be able to continue, we had a wreck further up as well, Ormond and Levi McIntire. But if these two come to pit road, it's going to come down between Sandfer and Batson, I think, of who's going to be the first one to retire out of the race. If I'm the 03 team, I just try and beat on it and get him back out there because I think Keith Batson's done. His engine is smoking. But if Sandfer retires, although Sandfer is going to get to cross the line here, so he might actually still be ahead of Batson in terms of the finishing results, and he's out. Where's the 39? Is the 39 already retired? Is he on pit road yet? Ferry Gamington's on pit road as well. There's the 39 of Batson, and his pit stall is back behind the start-finish line. And he's out of the race, so I don't know who they're going to score ahead of whom between Sandfer and Batson, but I think it's going to come down between those two as to who's moving on and who isn't. Saw a couple other drivers with some damage that came down pit road for playoff contenders, Fury Gamington and the 72 of Nathan Stapleton, as it looks like our top 8 decided to stay out. Sadler, Allen, Shelly, both the Saleras, Sadal and Simon, Benyacko and Norman. Big wreck there out of turn number 2, and we'll come back in just a moment and find out who it is that's going to be out of the playoffs. It's either going to be Sandfer or Batson. I think it might be Batson, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's go back and see what happened. We're going to use our helicopter cam for this just because the angle that we saw it live off turn 2 wasn't that great, and it was Shelly that started the wreck. He pushed up into Nathan Ormond and Zachary Fitzwater. There you see John Andrews in it. Oh, Dylan Young. Into the back of Kyle Langeland, Carson Gum, William Brock, and Jordan Lopez further back. There's where Keith Batson got involved, ran into the back of John Andrews. And then you just see him back here continuing to spin out. That's Jeff Scott getting a piece of it. There's Sandfer, Alex Gray. How did Sandfer get in it? I'm kind of curious about that one. Who'd he run into? Oh, looks like they had another wreck. Or is that all part of it? Oh, yeah, when Fitzwater got clipped by Shelly, he went up into William Brock, who then got Charles Sandfer. And then Sandfer gets into Levi McIntire. And I don't know if that was the point where Sandfer had the hood buckled up or not. The contact with the 99. There's Batson. He got a piece of not only John Andrews further up, but he also got a little bit of contact with William Brock. Oh, there's some contact there. Jesse Turner into Sandfer. Alex Gray gets spun up right in front of Josh Drake in the 66. Simon Salera, he runs into the back of Patrick Smith. And I thought Jeff Scott got a piece of this wreck. See Rob Evans gets spun out. Ooh, Alexander Rowe just sneaks by Charles Sandfer. And right there is where Jeff Scott gets a piece of it with the right front. Fury Gamington, I think, got through, as did his teammate O'Neal Balvin. And I think Alex Benyacko also got through the wreck. I think he just came to a dead stop and avoided everything. So nice job by a couple of our playoff contenders. But again, I think it's really going to come down between Charles Sandfer and Keith Batson as to who's going to be the first driver eliminated out of the playoffs. Now, I want to jump up here to the 99 of Levi McIntire because at this point he's not smoking, and we had something take place in turns 3 and 4, and at that point he was smoking. Oh, we had another wreck up here involving the 66 of Drake, and I think that was O Balvin in the 11. Oh, yeah, watch left side of your screen. That bright green car of Jesse Turner. I think that's N Ormond who's smoking in the 95, and I think he tried coming to pit road. And Jesse Turner just runs into him and then slides into him. Up into Dylan Young, up into Josh Drake. They wreck there in turn number 4. And then here comes Levi McIntyre, and that just completely rips off the whole left front. William Brock and O Balvin get collected up in this one as well. And does Gamington get into somebody here? I thought I saw him coming to pit road with damage, and I thought maybe he got involved in an incident here. But no, I guess not. He got through that one too. So now O Balvin's got damage as well. So a number of our playoff contenders have found themselves mangled after the first 3 laps of this race. Question is, though, who's going to be the one that will not move on to the playoffs next round? We're going to find that out right now. Well, like an idiot, I missed the drop of the green flag. My apologies as we got back underway, and we've got a battle here between Tristan Allen and Eric Sadler. So now the moment of truth. Who is moving on to the next round, who is not? Well, we know Alex Benyacko obviously is because he's up in the 6th position. Nathan Stapleton up in 9th. So those two are safe. We're going to look down at the finishing results, and who finishes the furthest down? It's going to be Keith Batson. I figured that with Sandfer able to cross the line, having the benefit of that number 1 pit stall, that he was probably going to be able to move on, and Batson being back behind the start-finish line with his pit stall was going to be the one that was going to be in the tough spot of probably being the lowest down to the finishers. And with the 39th place finish, Keith Batson will not be moving on to the next round of the playoffs. He's joined in the garage area by Josh Drake, Jesse Turner, William Brock. Sandfer's out in 36th, but he'll move on to the next round. Ormond's out as well. John Andrews also out. He will move on to the next round, though, even though his DNF in 34th. Dylan Young, Chris Maley, Levi McIntyre. Another playoff contender, and O Balvin is out. He'll finish in 30th. And Carson Gum, Kyle Langeland, Jack Hallec all finish this race behind the wall at this point. 26 cars still running, all 26 still on the lead lap. So Keith Batson, early retirement out of this race, and early retirement from the championship battle. Tough break for the 39 team as James Shelly now goes to the front, passing Eric Sadler in the 14. Field kind of split up here as a number of drivers have some cosmetic damage from getting involved in one of the 2 wrecks we saw take place back there. One thing that's good, though, is at this point we haven't had another caution. Bear in mind, though, we ended up having, 8 drivers, I think, that stayed out. So if this thing does manage to go green to the end, they might have to come to pit road before the conclusion of this race. Everybody else, I don't know. We never really got a chance in yesterday's Division 1 race to find out what the fuel window is, because every time it looked like we were settling in for a long green flag run, we'd have the yellow flag come out. S Almariego was in 3rd. Now it's going to be a 3-wide battle for 3rd place. T Wright in the middle. Jeff Scott on the bottom. Remember, he got a little bit of contact from that wreck on the back straightaway, but apparently it has not affected him aerodynamically wise, as they are 4 wide, 2 rows deep here. Benyacko and Watson leaning on each other in the middle. Oh, I don't like the look of this. They're going to wreck. There goes Scott. Benyacko spins. Simon Salera spins. Benyacko gets the wall. Is that enough for a caution, though? No yellow. That's what I was wondering. It looked like they didn't really spin until after they were under the racing surface. So there is no caution. So Benyacko leaving the scene of the accident, as does Jeff Scott and Simon Salera. No yellow flag. We're still green flag racing here at Blue Ridge. James Shelly now closing in on Cody Llamas, who is the last car on the lead lap. Where's Llamas going to go? Oh, he's blocking the inside line. They'll now get to his inside out of 4. Remember, it was Cody Llamas last week that was the deciding factor of who was going to win that race between O Balvin and Jordan Lopez at Orlando. And he ended up blocking the outside line of Jordan Lopez. That gave Balvin the win and moved him into the playoffs. It's Cody Llamas, a slower car again here, playing havoc in this battle for the race lead. 1 week later at Blue Ridge is Eric Sadler. Now makes the pass on J Shelly, goes back to the point. Here comes Adam Garcia and Tristan Allen now on the inside line. Well, I believe at this point of the race yesterday we were under our third caution. And we've only had one caution here today. Not to say we've been without incident, because we had that spin with A Benyacko and Simon Salera and Jeff Scott on the back straightaway here, but that did not warrant a yellow flag. Now Tristan Allen out in front. Yesterday we ended up having a playoff contender in Ashland Boyd go to victory lane, picking up his second win of the season. We've got the opportunity for a couple of our playoff drivers to maybe get their next win of the year. One of them being N Stapleton up here in that top 10. There he is in the 72. Whoa! Oh, okay. I thought I saw smoke, but what I was actually seeing was the white on the side of the 21 of Simon Bloomfield, so we actually didn't have a wreck. I was just seeing things. Stapleton right now up in the 5th position. Actually make that 6th, as this is the battle for the lead again. Eric Sadler to the inside of Tristan Allen. Outside line gets a good run on that straightaway as J Galloway was trying to take 3rd place from J Shelly and Adam Garcia, but they were able to swing around him, and now Shelly with a run to the inside of Tristan Allen. That's for 2nd. Daniel Voyles just coming out of turn 4 as the field enters into turn 3, so it'll be a little while before we have slower traffic to deal with. Tristan Allen, don't know if he made any contact with Eric Sadler or not, but he clearly let Sadler know he's there. No friends on the front straightaway, though, as Shelly stays up top. Keeps Eric Sadler alongside Tristan Allen for the time being. They'll take this battle into turns 1 and 2. And it's a ways back to Adam Garcia, who now shifts lanes up to the high side. So Eric Sadler, for the moment, holds off Tristan Allen. Now Garcia switches low, and that's going to help push the 37 to the race lead. Got some drivers back there, might just be waiting in the wings. Stapleton, Almariego, Alexander Rose, Simon Bloomfield. J Galloway, Benny Watson there as well. 3 wide for 2nd. Garcia, Shelly, and Sadler. This all going on currently behind Tristan Allen, who I believe was one of the drivers that decided to stay out under that only caution we've had. So, again, Allen and Shelly and I believe Eric Sadler, a couple of these drivers all had decided to stay out. And so I'm wondering if they're going to have to come to pit road or not. Almost 4 wide back there for a moment. Alexander Rowe thought about it. They settled it back out to 3 wide. And I'm hearing an idling engine. Daniel Voyles just now in turn 3. Field now just entering turn 3. So I think that if we do remain green to the finish, Daniel Voyles will be caught before we get to the checkered flag. Tristan Allen, James Shelly, Adam Garcia, all looking for their first wins of the season. Tristan Allen's had a great year. Shelly's had a mediocre year, and Adam Garcia's kind of been right in the middle. And all 3 of them would love to be able to pick up their first win of the season, as James Shelly now will get to the inside of Tristan Allen. He'll take the top spot. But again, I kind of question about the 71 and the 37 if they can make it on fuel. Maybe they came to pit road like on the next lap of the caution or something. I'm not certain, but if that was the case, I don't know how they would have started up at the front like they did. Although I just remembered we've had 2 cautions. Okay, so never mind. Never mind, they probably pitted under the last caution. They didn't pit under the first caution, that's what it was, I think. They are going to make it very easily around Daniel Voyles. Okay, nope, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Here comes Shelly and Sadler to pit road. So they didn't pit under the last caution, so I was right. I second-guessed myself, and then I second-guessed myself, as now the battle is on for the lead between Adam Garcia and Tristan Allen. Now the question is, what about all those other drivers? Are they going to be able to make it on fuel? Or are they going to have to come to pit road at some point? It's the first time this entire weekend we've seen green flag pit stops at Blue Ridge. Didn't see it at all in yesterday's race, and up to this point we hadn't seen it at all in this race. So Garcia and Allen, they will take this battle side by side to the line. Which line's going to prevail? Looks like the outside line of Tristan Allen's going to get it. So now Eric Sadler and James Shelly, they're out of the running for this win unless everybody else can't make it on fuel. And we got a couple new players up here in the top 5. Benny Watson up to 3rd. Zachary Fitzwater now up to 4th. Trey Wright in a side-by-side battle for 5th with Simon Bloomfield. Toyota power. Garcia and Watson. I think Tristan Allen might be out of fuel. I think he's trying to get to pit road. Oh, they're not going to let him. Someone let him down. Lopez is coming to pit road as well. Okay, I was thinking Lopez wasn't going to let him down, but Lopez was hitting pit lane as well. And those are a couple of other drivers that had decided to stay out. They made it a little bit further on fuel than Shelly and Sadler did, but they are not going to be in the running for this win either. I think they were planning that was not going to be the last caution. I think they were planning on another one. And we're trying to get track position as a result, but unfortunately for them, even that spin with Jeff Scott, Alex Benyacko, and Simon Salera didn't bring out a caution. We've been green since then, and that's probably going to cost those guys a good finish. Is up front, Adam Garcia, rear deck lid full of fellow Camry Benny Watson. They've got Alex Benyacko up ahead, that one of those cars that spun but didn't bring out the caution. He's a little off the pace, and we'll see if they catch him in a bad spot. Ooh, Benny Watson, I think, tried to use the 20 as a pick. You saw him try and look low there. Try and stick the 29 behind the 20, but not successful, at least not this time. And they're coming to pit road, Garcia and Watson. And that turns the race lead over to Trey Wright. So those guys couldn't make it on fuel. It's going to come down to a fuel strategy race. Awesome. 3 laps to go as Trey Wright hit the line. And I think he might have been the only one who stayed out. Well, Jordan Lopez also stayed out. Well, no, actually, Lopez, I think, had already been to pit road. Yeah, Lopez had already been to pit road. So I think the only driver we're waiting on to complete the cycle of pit stops would be the 34. And he's hitting pit road this time. So now, James Shelly, Eric Sadler, Tristan Allen, they're back in the hunt for this, and there they are lined up nose to tail. Sadler, Shelly, and Allen. Will these be the top 3 when it cycles back around? Trey Wright, when he just hit the line, it was 2 laps to go. This next time by will be the white flag, but I don't know who necessarily is going to be the race leader. James Shelly making a pass for what could be the race leader. We'll have to see. Tristan Allen now going to go to the inside as well. All these guys appear to be scored ahead of him. Caleb Farrell and Nathan Stapleton. I don't know who's going to be the race leader here. I'm waiting to see the ticker up on the top middle to see when they show us that the white flag is in the air. We're still at 2 to go at this point, according to it. And I think this might be the battle for the lead right here. Trey Wright coming off pit road. Adam Garcia coming around the outside. This, I think, is the change for the race lead. Adam Garcia to the point, and this time by, the white flag will wave over the hood of the 29. There it is, white flag's in the air. Garcia is the leader. Trey Wright was second, Fitzwater third, Bloomfield fourth. Coming up on the slower car of Jeff Scott is Adam Garcia. He's got a bit of a gap back to second place, which right now is a battle between Fitzwater and Bloomfield. Adam Garcia, the pit strategy is going to work out for him as he will come out of turn 4 for the final time. He'll take his first checkered flag of the season. Adam Garcia wins here today at the Blue Ridge Superspeedway. Toyota sweeps the weekend. Boyd had the Division 1 race win. Garcia gets the Division 2 race win. Adam Garcia, who came into this race in the 28th position in points, had a terrible run last week at Orlando, but gets the victory here today. And it all came down to those green flag pit stops and the pit strategy. And I don't think Adam Garcia was one of the drivers that had stayed out under the last caution. I think he was one of the first that came to pit road. So was that the move of the race? Quite possibly, and they just wrecked coming to pit lane. Benny Watson and Jeff Scott. Benny Watson got some air there. The standings are official, and Adam Garcia will capture his first career victory on the season, and it'll come here today in the first playoff race at Blue Ridge. Simon Bloomfield will make it a Toyota 1-2 finish as he gets second. Trey Wright brings it home in third. Fitzwater fourth with Galloway fifth. Then sixth place was Benny Watson. Lopez in seventh. Alexander Rowe will finish in 8th. 9th was Rob Evans, and Tristan Allen completes top 10. A lot of Toyotas up there in the top 10. You had Garcia, you had Bloomfield, you had Watson, you had Lopez, and you had Rowe. Nathan Stapleton will finish the day out in 11th position with Eric Sadler in 12th. Shelly, Farrell, and Vince Almariego. That'll be your top 15. Then it's Patrick Smith, Michael Norman, William Flickinger, Sadal Salera, Fury Gamington, and Alex Gray. That's the drivers that finished on the lead lap. Jeff Scott, Voyles, Llamas, Simon Salera, Alex Benyacko all finish off the lead lap. Jeff Scott and Simon Salera, they were in that spin, but I don't think they came to pit road. Benyacko did come to pit road to repair his damage. That's why he finished 3 laps down. But you look on down, and everybody else finished out of the race, and the most notable of them, the 39 car finishing in 39th, Keith Batson, lowest finisher of the playoff contenders, and as consequence is the first driver here in Division 2 eliminated from the playoffs. He will not move on to the next round. So that leaves us with 7 drivers for Division 2 that will move on. They will be Sandfer, Stapleton, Gamington, Andrews, Jeff Scott, O'Neal Balvin, and Alex Benyacko. So after this race weekend, we know Brady Burkhardt is out of the playoffs for Division 1. We know Keith Batson's out of the playoffs here for Division 2. 2 more drivers will be eliminated in next week's race. But thank you all for tuning in to this weekend's race from Blue Ridge. If you enjoyed today's race, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full finish results. These are your overall point standings and your updated playoff standings heading into next week. Next week, it'll be playoff race number 2. 2 more drivers will be eliminated as we head to another debuting track, the Under Armour Super Speedway. Should be a wild one. You're not going to want to miss it. Until then, I've been Seth Cole, and you've been watching a production of NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.